Hello there, and welcome back to part 3 of our Falls Creek Falls State Park videos. We're going to start today by going out to the Overlook at Falls Creek Falls. You can see it's beautiful. It's a nice long ways down to the falls at the bottom, and immediately after viewing this, I'm going to take off and we'll take you down the hike. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when we start the hike. Well, we're starting out this morning. We're going for a hike. We're starting at the Falls Creek Falls Overlook, and we're going to take the short hike down to the falls themselves, at least the bottom of the falls. It's a very short walk, but I understand it's fairly steep and it'll probably be quite challenging for me. Kathy was much wiser in making the decision of not to make this trek, and she's back at the Lazy Days cleaning up, doing some work around the place, and I think she'll sit and relax and read her book. Well, looking forward to a great day going down, seeing the waterfalls, and glad you're with us. Well, we're at the top of the Overlook, and that's the Overlook there behind us. I took a little bit of video there. The contrast was difficult, but we may see how we're doing. As you can see, I'm backlit now. Anyway, we are going to go on down the trail, and we're going to see what this is like. I'm anticipating it being a little harder than what I would like. Anyway, see you down. Whenever a trail looks a little too easy to start with, I get concerned. This part of the trail is really nicely built, really quite gentle slope, nicely set up part of the trail. I doubt the rest of it will be that way. We have come to the first view stopping spot on the trail. We look around the corner, you can see the falls, sort of in the middle of the video, and it gives you a little different view. As you can see now, the nicely groomed trails that we saw previously have begun to deteriorate a little as we get further down the hike. I soon hit a section of stone steps going down the trail, and I thought I'd take a portion of the video and show you that. It was really quite interesting and challenging. My guess is this part of the trail is right below the Overlook. You can see that a lot of rock slides have brought fresh rock down onto the trail. There's these places where it's fairly difficult to get past some of the big boulders. You can see the cracking that takes place in the rock. There's a big crevice that has created, and someday that giant boulder is going to roll down off this cliff. Fascinating hike, really enjoying it. I hit this area of a giant rock slide. This was quite a experience climbing through this. You can see a lot of people do. They built a trail right through it, but it really was an experience. You can see the size of this rock fall was just enormous, and quite an experience. Finally, we get our first view of the falls from down below. Looking back up at the falls, you can see we're getting down near the bottom. It's getting greener, a little leveler, and you can certainly hear the falls. now we can see the pool of the water at the bottom of the falls. It's still quite a bit below us, but we're making progress to the bottom. And finally, we get a full view of the pool at the bottom of the falls. You see there's a couple people down here, but they're not swimming yet. It's still early in the morning, and quite frankly, down in the shaded area by the waterfall is quite cold this morning. And I think that this afternoon the place will be full of swimmers, but it's a little too cold for me to be going in that water, and I don't see anybody else in it as well. Not at this time. Well, we've made it down to the falls, the bottom of the falls. It's beautiful. Climbed up on a rock here. There's the bottom of the falls bed. If I tilt her up a little bit, we can see the top of the falls. I understand it's about 250 feet up to the upper part of the falls to the bottom, and that makes it one of the biggest, the largest falls in the eastern part of the United States. Don't know which ones are larger. We'll have to find that out. But right now we're just enjoying the beautiful scenery down here in this hole, which is rock everywhere around us. And then we have the waterfall coming down and making up the beautiful scene that we have below. It is really a gorgeous place. If I turn around this way, that's the river or creek leaving the falls. And as you can see, it's a very beautiful area. Well, we made it down to the falls, took some video, took a few photographs. It was a reasonable hike down, although you really have to sort of pick your place for your footing, especially if you get near the rocks at the bottom. It's a challenging hike, although I see a lot of people bringing little children down. Anyway, we enjoyed the view. It's a beautiful place. We're going to do the hike back up. We're going to take our time, shoot some video, and hopefully not be terribly exhausted when we get to the top. Now, this is the trail that leads us back up to the Overlook. We'll take off through those bushes there and show you some video as we go back up the trail. I think as we head up the trail, I think you'll get a better picture of how steep the climb was, even though this is only a half-mile hike each way. It's a difficult hike, and you'll see as we go along the way, it's very important that you have full control over your footing and your ability to climb over rocks and other obstacles. So take a look. Sit back, enjoy this video as I show you what the hike looks like on the way back up. As you can see from the families that are coming down the trail to go swimming, that children of all ages appear to be able to make this hike down. I would caution against children too young, as you'll notice as we go up a little bit that the younger children have some trouble climbing over the sides of these rocks. So keep that in mind. I think I remember that my rule of thumb was when I was a young dad was that I didn't take a kid on a hike that I wasn't willing to carry out, and I did end up carrying a couple of them out on occasion, and it was challenging, but that's something that all fathers do when they take kids out on hikes like this. It's a great thing, but it can also make for a challenging day. I think this view here gives you a pretty good understanding of the steepness of the climb. That off to the other side of that railing is straight down, and as you climb up these switchbacks through this rock slide, it can challenge legs both young and old. Not very much to talk about when you're climbing uphill and your legs are tired and you're out of breath and you're an old man. So I don't say a whole lot coming up this hill. I'm just sort of saving my breath. Well, we're still climbing. I'm still out of breath. Legs are still weak, but we're pushing on up. One thing I noticed about hiking back when I was a young man, when I went with Joe on some hikes, is that all trails are up. There are no down trails in the mountains. I'm sure you've noticed the same. As luck would have it, we'd run across somebody with a beautiful yellow lab. Reminded me a lot of our Annie, who we miss dearly. Everybody's got to love a lab. They're wonderful dogs. At this point of the hike, my legs are really wearing out. I'm starting to show my years, I'm afraid. The legs aren't as strong as they used to be. But still pushing on, getting near the top, starting to be able to see some sunshine between the trees, and it sort of indicates that we're getting near the top as we go. Well, this is a really good sign. We're up to the area where they had improved the trail. This portion is a little rough, but we're getting near the first overlook, and then the trail gets a lot leveler and not quite as steep as it has been. A lot easier to walk without climbing over rocks. So we're almost to the top. Hang in there with me. Yeah, that's me pretending to breathe really hard, so you'll think I'm really tired at the end of this 1 mile hike up and down. Well, truth is, I am pretty winded, so. Well, I made it down to the bottom of the falls. It was really beautiful. It was well worth the hike down. The hike back up was a little tougher than I thought. Really maybe stop at a couple places, catch my breath. But it's only it's less than a half mile down, half mile back up. And I made it okay, so I guess that makes it a good hike. Any hike that ends well was well. So, adios. We'll see you in the next video. Bye. Well, I hope you enjoyed the 3 videos. If so, please subscribe and let us know. We'd love to hear from you.